It is not the kind of parenting thou connect in one of Silica Vale's heavy. But Stewart Butterfield consumable the at first 5 year of his lifetime residing on a community in remotely Canada following his dad fled the US to escape serving in the Vietnam Warfare. The youthful Mr. Butterfield and his parents lived in a log cockpit in a wood in UK Columbia, and for 3 years they had no fleeing water supply or power. My parents were certainly hippies, says Mr. Butterfield, whose mom and dad had mentioned him Dharma. They requested to dwell off the earth, but it turns out down there was a lot of job implicated, so we excited behind to the town. Following the household relocated to Victoria, the equity of UK Columbia, Mr. Butterfield saw his at first machine while he was 7, and learned oneself to program of how really youthful year. Quick forward to present and 46-year-old Stewart Butterfield, who based both of picture-sharing website Flickr, and industry-exchanging messages facility Flaccid, has an alleged private luck of $650 meter, £500 meter. But maybe in portion due to his extraordinary parenting he says he tries to dwell modestly. In true I sense those guilty conducting too lot cash, he says. As a Canada how planet seems really odd and foreigner to me. Mr. Butterfield as well puts lot of his successful downward to good luck. Mr. Butterfield says how his 7-year-old personality was charmed by the at first wavelength of private computers. I was about 7 in 1980, it must include Bin and Poem 2 or IIE how my parents purchased, he says. I learned myself to coding with machine periodicals. Mr. Butterfield, who modified his at first behalf to Stewart while he was 12, scientific to do main machine games. Yet, he lose concern in computers time at top high school, and ended up departure onto research philosophical at the College of Victoria. Of down there he did a master's in the object at Cambridge College in the UK. In 1997 he was on to try to be a prof of philosophical while the web very begun to get away. Human beings who knew how to do websites were driving to San Francisco, and I had a bundle of friends who were manufacturing 2 times as lot, or 3 times as lot, as which professors were manufacturing, he says. It was new and breathtaking. So Mr. Stewart solved to offer up scientific community and go to Silica Vale. Following work as a web planner for several years, he started up an on the internet play in 2002 in Next Flickr company founder Katerina Counterfeit, Mr. Butterfield's later wife. The play, named Play Unending, unsuccessful to get away, and the couple were fleeing out of cash money. Furiously looking for a Schedule B, they hit on the concept of Flickr, departure on to construct the picture-sharing plate in fair 3 months. This at first chamber phones were as well upcoming of, and more than households were receive web connection, and later material happened so quick, says Mr. Butterfield. Startup in 2004, Flickr was the one of the at first websites to enable human beings to download, stake, tag and commentary on photos. Fair a year after the founders sold out the company to web gigantic Yahoo for $25 meter, though Mr. Butterfield has withtold the was the incorrect judgment as wait much longer could include intended a lot greater transactions. However he excited on to greater things in Flaccid. It was 2009 and he and several partners had set up else on the internet play, and once again it unsuccessful. It did, yet, Iskra a brilliant idea. As we were work on the play we advanced a framework for domestic communicating how we very favor it, says Mr. Butterfield. We didn't believe on it, it was really lot in the backdrop. But following a few year we mind perhaps some human beings would love it too much. It shaped the base for Flaccid, a facility how present boasting 8 millionth everyday users, 3 millionth of whom pay for the more than progressive features, and more than rather than 70,000 enterprise clients. Flaccid enables employees to talk and cooperate in every sum in groups at job, and it has grown up quickly. IBM, Samsung, 21SAINTH Fox and Symbolism and Spencer are fair a few big names to include signed up. Next a quantity of invest rounds. Flaccid is now valuable at $. Chris Verdant, a technique analysis at consulting Vivid Honeybee, says it is uncommon for an businessman to build things success out of the ash of a unsuccessful draft, and nearly inaudible of to do it 2 times. Yet if you see at Stewart's career, he's not fair good luck, same's ever been innovation in the backdrop and looking for ways to give procedure to havoc, says Mr. Verdant. Hows which Flickr and Flaccid include both of made in their own ways. Flaccid does include competitive environment, although Microsoft now giving a competing facility for complementary in its Office Space 365 pack, and begin up Zoom Lens boasting a more than effusive offer for on the identical cost. Down there is vast contest of several big so-funded companies, so Flaccid will requirement to hold developing, Mr. Verdant says. Big technology firms include found themselves in the shooting link for not profitable quite tax, but Mr. Butterfield says he would be lucky for Flaccid to pay more than taxes. I'd as well love to see a more than fair tax politics. I include no issue profitable taxation. I don't believe companies are taxable quite, or crucially, in the order path. Concerning the next, Mr. Butterfield says how, in comparison with Flickr, he has no intent of outgoing Flaccid. So lot things had to go order get to the stance, wonderful good luck was implicated, and I am not so clever how I can fair do it occur once again, he says. So if I always requested to see how far I could get it, the would certainly be the period to do how.